This video is going to show you a solo master Nightfall getting platinum rank, which the Nightfall this week is inverted Spire. Champions are Barrier Unstoppable. We're doing it on a Hunter Blade Barrage with a generic loadout in terms of like fragments and stuff. I showed you quickly at the start of the video of what I was using that way. We're using Barrier Pulse and Unstoppable Scout. Obviously I could have went Glaive. If you want to go Glaive you can. You can do anything in this. It's inverted Spire. It is technically the easiest Nightfall we have. I would argue it's probably easier than Arms Dealer. Arms Dealer, Inverted Spire, those are the two easiest Nightfalls this particular season. But this is just showing you a quick video on the clear of it anyways, despite on how easy it is. So we're just going to clear these set amount of ads. I guess it'll just be tips about this Nightfall if you're not sure about it. I've been playing this one for 2017, summer 2017, because it was the actual beta strike of D2. When D2 was in beta, this was the strike that everybody was playing. So I know pretty much everything there is to know about this. With these portals, if you want to summon your Sparrow, make sure that you do it as you're jumping through the portal. For that first one, if you do it halfway across the gap, the chasm, then you're not going to be able to spawn your Sparrow and you'll fall. This portal, however, you can spawn your Sparrow about, just before halfway, and it just speeds things up. Alright, so that's the deal with the Sparrow technique for that. You can skip the ads that you just saw there. You don't need them for 100k. This is obviously on Master, on Legend. You may or may not. I don't know. I'm not going to really play test Legend at this point of the season. But yeah, you don't need those ads for Master, definitely not. You'll get the score without trying, really. So the champion positions, there's a barrier right beneath us. There's also a barrier and unstoppable behind him. This is on the bottom floor, and then on the top floor there's an unstoppable and then 2 barrier vex. Best way of dealing with it at the start is to sort of kill this barrier from up top. If you've got a ranged barrier weapon, obviously it's barrier pulse, and Outbreak being #1 in slot in terms of pulse rifles in the game for barrier, right? So that's why I went with that, just to show you. I've obviously got Classy Restoration on for the health regen, but I've got the Revitalizing Blast, the champion mod, the mod that you want to be using when you do this, the GMs. When Grandmasters come out, that's what you want to do. I'm going to do things a little bit different to what I usually do. I'm going to spawn kill one of the barriers. Right, I'll use a blade, which pretty much kills them at full health at my power. If you're lower than me, then it won't. So just bear that in mind. Be prepared to take a shield. Right, you might have to break his shield after the super. Or what you can do is prime the champion down, then use your super. Whichever way works for you, really. There's a solar shield. Now, generally, the ads or the champions will deal with that solar shield for you if you're in this encounter long enough. Because it's only on Master, we're not going to have much time to see the barriers fighting the Cabal Ultra. On GM you'll notice it more. They'll actually help you take down the shield. But I'll be able to use a nade in a minute. I'm just working on this Unstoppable. One key point about this room is that Unstoppable that fights the Vex on top floor, if you don't tag him and you let the ads clear that champ, you will not get platinum. Now there is some tricks with platinum on this Nightfall, right? I already discovered this. God, it's going to be when Breach and Clear came out. Whatever season that was, I would say 3 seasons ago now. It was discovered that a couple of champs could be skipped. I.e. the one, the Unstoppable at the transit section where you're waiting for the percentage to clear. You could skip that champ. There's some skips that you could do. Literally, this was, as soon as I got on, this is my first clear of this Nightfall this week. Right, so I haven't done any testing with what champs you can skip now, because things do change in the game. But I do foresee you could probably at least skip one champ, still get plat. Because this is the case with most of the Nightfalls nowadays, that you can skip one champ and still get platinum. With these 2 barriers, try not to expose yourself to both of them, their line of sight. You don't want to get double sniped. I'm just giving you extra tips for when it comes to the higher difficulties, I guess, so you can take tips what you will. But obviously we'll cover Grandmaster mode in depth solo wise, when it comes, like for all of them this season, of course, like most of the case. The only one I've really missed out, I was actually looking the other day, the only solo GM I haven't done in the game is Lightblade, which I was actually very ill when that came out. I did have a little practice with it, not too much, not as much as I would have liked, because I've cleared, last season I cleared the run with a team, meaning I didn't have a checkpoint for weeks. It might have been 4 or 5 weeks until I had to go at Lightblade. So that's the only GM out of the entire game that's in the rotation of Nightfalls that I haven't covered. You know, so I at some point I've covered obviously Inverted Spire multiple times and the rest of them. So you can skip the cleavers. There's a double cleaver there behind me. I'm not. You don't need to deal with them at all. You know, that's the problem with this Nightfall. Is it's a good scored Nightfall. It's not too bad, but you don't need the points to attain 100k. All right, so it's kind of like, because the champions are worth so many points, you just go for the champs anyways. I'm just telling you the nature of these strikes, and it's been like this for literally years. We're gonna zone down this unstoppable. You literally just using my scout, which is Vouchsafe, a void scout. Reason why I've got that on is there's a lot of void shields. Outbreak perfected, as I said, and I've got the linear fusion rifle Stormchaser on because arc burn is on this Nightfall. So Stormchaser is pretty much best in slot to use for this. There are other arc weapons that are decent, I guess, in this, but Stormchaser outclasses pretty much everything in the game because of how it works with the aggressive frame for linears. So, I mean, you can experiment and try other things. Galahorn would be good in this. Sleeper Simulant would be good in this. But just take advantage of the burn. If there's a burn on, try and link your heavy to the burn. That's generally what you want to do with Nightfalls in general. Alright? So this is the battlefield area. We're going to skip it all, and we're not going to do anything with it apart from the champions. This is what Nightfalls have come to. Right? So this is just what we do. Right, so we come over to this right side building, take down the snipers, because they are going to get in our way. And then we'll take the sniper over the other side, and then we'll deal with the barrier in the middle. There's only one champ, and then 2 key targets. Eliminate drill officers. There's one below me, and one in the other side of the building. But I ask you, the viewer, what's worse? Being able to... skipping... doing what we used to do, where we just skipped entire sections but done the actual objectives, or skipping the very nature of the strike and just clearing champions, and that's platinum. Is that really platinum? I feel as though the whole platinum thing needs to change with how it works. It shouldn't be just medals of, I killed all the champs, I get platinum. No, I don't think it should be that. I think it should be, a platinum should be tiered, a tiered system where it accounts for every single thing in the strike. Time, odds, how you cleared them, and that sort of way. That's how you would properly do these Nightfalls, because right now they are just kind of like, what's the point in doing these really? Well, there's adept loot for GMs, so that's the point. But what else is the point? For the average player, there's not a lot of point apart from the weapons. That's it. But that's what I'm saying, like, going forward at some point they're going to have to look at Nightfalls and sort of look at them and what they could do to sort of bring them to the next gen, because this is just so like 2019 with we're 3 years into this system, and people have complained about champs, and champs aren't such a problem. It's the fact I've said, let us be able to stun champs at any season, at any time, with whatever weapons we want. Or work out some sort of system where shotguns may be your unstoppable weapon. Glaives are permanent unstoppable weapons. All trace rifles at all times can overload stun overloads. Or give Outbreak perfected barrier permanently. Why not? right? Just do that. That's what I think they should do. But what we've come to now is these champs are actually getting easier as we go along with the game. When they shipped, they had far more health than what they have now, apart from the on GM, I guess. But champs are going down. Actually, even on GM, champs are going down so easy now, especially with things like Revitalizing Blast. So my fear is we're starting to get to the easier side of GMs, where they're starting to become too easy. They're giving us burns for us. And it's, I mean, we're just going, I don't know where we're going now. We're just going south with it. What my vision would be for what this game should be for Nightfalls, for endgame. It isn't what I would say that's decent, or what I would want it to look like, right? This section is what I'm on about, right, with the transit section. So your key is to make sure that you stun that champ, but don't stun him while he's in animation, when he's in his drop animation. The champ will not stun properly and you will need to restun again. However, as you know with champions, you can't stun them back to back so quickly. There's obviously a little bit of a time between stuns. So that could be a death of you, like especially on a higher difficulty. You think he's stunned, he's not, he comes over, boops you and one-shot you. And then you took game over, isn't it? So it's a case of let the champ do what they do, get him out of that animation lock where he's jumping across, and let him aggro you. As soon as he's aggroed on you and starts to run, you're free to stop, use your blade, whatever you want. You can use heavy. I like to use a super for that. But as I said previously, I believe that you can actually just skip this champ. If you stand at the back of the, there's actually like an exploit on that section. I haven't tested it this season, but I imagine that you can still do it and probably still get plat. So that's something there for people that if you want to go ahead and try it. I haven't got the time to do it. I'm just going to post this first clear of it and then be done with it for this particular Nightfall. For the first couple of days of this week at least anyways. There's an unstoppable champion and a couple of void shields here, so by the time he gets here with enough stuns, we're basically killing him anyways, even without using heavy. Note that there's some snipers to our top right, so you don't even really need to clear them, but we'll clear them. It's actually a explosive detonation box thing that you can shoot, just takes them all out. I was just looking on the floor for ammo. My ammo is probably good enough. I wasn't sure how much ammo I was going to need at the boss, but I do know that this boss isn't very tanky. It doesn't have a large health pool. So I know that probably me being Radiant, high energy fire, because that stacks with Radiant, and a blade and some Stormchaser, I knew that the boss would go down pretty quick. I just didn't know the best order to do everything in. You could probably just not use a super and just use heavy. That's why I've got the build on with the powered melee Wellmaker, elemental charge and high energy fire. So we get elemental wells via melee charge kills, which we can do very easily with obviously the hunter. I didn't quite get the kill on that champ there. That was unfortunate, because I don't get my knife back if that happens, but it's no big deal. So we're just here to clear the champ and then move on, right? And then we'll come to the drill section. There's 3 platforms. There's 3 levels. There's middle, which is completely safe from the drill. There's top. That's when you go from middle to top. That's where the danger can be, and then from middle to bottom. But you never ever really need to go to the bottom floor unless you maybe want a brick and you're desperate for this heavy brick that's fell down there. Then you might. But other than that, you're only going to fight from middle floor and top, and that's it. I'll clear out a couple of signs because there is one danger in this. This is actually very safe, but there is actually one danger. The sounds, if you don't clear them out quickly enough, they'll do their void attack that launches you in the air, and you can then hit the drill and then go flying and then die. That's your biggest threat, but as long as you clear the sounds, that won't happen. Barrier is pretty simple to deal with. Just be careful because he can do a lot of damage to you, obviously. It just depends on your power. If you're above 1580, give this a go. You're no problem at doing a solo on this. You'll find it to be not too difficult. 1570 is alright, then you're in GM territory. Then you're literally doing a GM. But even then, as I said, with the mods that we've got this season, I don't foresee any difficulty with this, with any strikes like this, because this just did feel like a playlist strike to me when I was playing it. I couldn't really believe how fast champs are just dying now. That might be my power. I'm 1590, you know, sue me, whatever. But I grinded hard to start this season to be 1590, so that I'm in a poor position to farm Master Grasp of Avarice, Master Duality, farm out all the armor because I'm at power. Right now, that means I'm indirectly high for Nightfalls, and people are complaining to me about my power. And listen, I don't care if you're complaining about my high power level and stuff, because people are. Then listen, I'm not bothered. It's as simple as that. You know, I'm here to sort of do a job with this game, and I'm doing that, right? So it's just a case of that I'm high power. You know, there's people far higher power than me, far, like 30 artifact power doing AFK farming. I ain't doing any of that stuff, right? And I'm barely playing now, obviously. You know, most of my experience is done XP wise. So we use our Blade Barrage. We've got Charge of Light, Radiant. Then we'll finish him with the Stormchaser. If I was a little quicker, I could have got more shots off. But we'll get him on phase 2. This boss has 3 plates. It doesn't really matter. We can literally kill him on plate 2 now. We've still got Charge of Light. Even if we didn't clear him on this plate, we would clear him on plate 3. But we're going to stand on a object so that when he does his floor wave thing, you don't jump in the air. That's literally what that is. I'll cover this strike more in depth, obviously, when it's GM, right? But that's just sort of showing you the solo on this. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.